So I finished building my off-grid home in southern Colorado about 14 months ago, and I just finished producing a video series titled How Much Does It Cost to Build an Off-Grid Home in Colorado? But today I want to talk about my biggest challenges when it comes to off-grid living. So let's get started. Alright, so my list of challenges are in no particular order. When I first moved into my property, I was super excited to learn that I've got jackrabbits running through my property. And I was even more excited to discover that I had these baby rabbits running through my property as well. I thought it was a little bit strange that they were hanging out so close to my car most of the day, but I quickly realized why that is. And that's because they were living in the engine of my Subaru. So this is my first challenge. They actually chewed through some of the wires in my engine, and I know it was them because there was rabbit poop on top of the engine, and when I opened the hood there was a rabbit inside my engine. So the first challenge is keeping these guys at bay. So these are the beautiful jackrabbits that I have, and they are beautiful as well, but they've got their own issues when it comes to damage and destruction of my property. They were chewing the bottom section of my new blue spruce trees, and so I actually had to put up a wire fence around. If you can see, they were chewing through the bottom there, and so I had to put a fence around that, and that seems to keep them off. I'll talk more about the rabbits here in just a second. So I was even more excited to learn that I've got pronghorns coming through my property. These guys are so beautiful. I grew up in Michigan and we do not have pronghorn. Some people call them antelope. And they're really cool looking. They're the fastest land animal in North America. But they come with their issues as well, as you can imagine. I was planting some deciduous trees on the corners of my property. And every time I went to water the trees, I noticed that they were chewing the branches off my trees. That's what it looked like when I planted it on the left, and that's what it looks like today on the right. So I guess that would be challenge number 3. Now let's talk about the mice. So before the rabbits got into my Subaru, I actually had some damage from mice chewing through the wires. Cost me about $900. And so I decided to start setting up these mouse traps and catch a few of these guys, because when I turned the light on in the evening, it was like a mice superhighway. I mean, you could literally just see them running all over the place. So over the course of the past 14 months, I have probably caught about 60 mice with these traps here. And I did a little bit of research online, and it come to find out that peppermint oil is a good deterrent as well. So I've been spraying this peppermint oil up in my engine bay, and the peppermint oil is also supposed to keep the rabbits away. So I spray the peppermint oil, and then I found some rodent repellent bags that I also hang in the engine bay, 2 of them, and that seems to work. I also learned that if you take an Irish Spring bar of soap and shave it down and put it inside your vehicle, then that could potentially help as well. So I actually did that Irish Spring trick, put that underneath the seats of my vehicle. So you might want to give that a shot. So 2 other things that I tried is actually a physical barrier to keep the mice off of my vehicles. I used this roof flashing, wrapped it around my tires, to try to keep them out of my side-by-side, my new ATV that I recently purchased. So I tell you what, dealing with some of these challenges can almost feel like a part-time job, but I'm definitely making progress. So now I wanted to talk about mail delivery, and while I do that, I'm going to show you some drone footage of my property. So the post office does not deliver out here, so I had to get a post office box. Fortunately though, I do get UPS delivery and FedEx delivery, which makes it nice because I'm able to get quite a bit of stuff from Amazon that prevents me from having to drive into town. Now I wanted to talk about trash service. So it's a little bit tricky out here. For some reason, my neighbors are able to get trash service, but I am not. So I'm not sure what the deal with that is, but it's actually kind of a good thing because there are some transfer stations out here that open up on the weekends, and they actually only charge $2 per bag. So what I do is I just save up my trash, and I typically go to the Fort Garland transfer station because it's closer. And every second and fourth Saturday of the month, I just bring my trash bags over there. Usually I only go through about one bag per week. So instead of spending $30 or $40 a month for trash, I'm probably only spending about $8 a month. So that's actually kind of a good thing, even though it is a little bit of an inconvenience. So another challenge that I face is delivering bulk water to my house. Because I'm equipped with a 2,000-gallon cistern, I do need to keep it full and haul water in from the Fort Garland Water Department periodically. And the first trailer I bought was actually too small. I didn't know that 275 gallons of water weighs about 2,300 pounds. So this first trailer that I bought could only handle 1,000 pounds. So for the first 6 or 8 months, I was only able to haul about 100 gallons at a time, which was kind of a pain. And then I also discovered you need a specific fitting in order to drain the water. I was able to find this on Amazon, but that was a bit of a challenge. And then on one of the days, I lost my lid. It was like, what the heck, you know? So what I ended up doing is buying a bigger trailer from Tractor Supply. This trailer here, they assembled it for me at the store, and it is able to handle all 275 gallons of water. So now let's talk about where I get my water from. I'm lucky enough that I live just about 10 minutes from the Fort Garland Water Department, and they only charge 10 cents per gallon plus $10 for the day. So I normally make 2 trips, and it costs, so 550 gallons cost me $65. So that would definitely be something to look into if you're thinking about living off-grid. Water can be a situation if you don't have a place to get it nearby. All right, so now let's talk about growing trees out in this area. So I planted 4 deciduous trees on my property, and 3 of them died after maybe a first season. Between the pronghorn chewing on them and the fact that we only get 10 inches of rain per year, they just didn't make it. So I am experimenting with the blue spruce trees, which so far seem to be doing pretty good if I can keep my jackrabbits off of them. I also planted 4 lilac bushes because I heard that they do really well here in the valley. But as soon as they sprouted leaves the first spring, I had some either crickets or grasshoppers come in and just destroy them. And I was talking to the lady at the nursery, and she said the same thing happened to her lilac bushes. They just come in and eat all the leaves off, and the plant just can't survive. So it's been a bit challenging. I'm hopeful that my blue spruces are going to do well, and then I'll keep experimenting and see what happens from there. All right, now let's talk about the gophers on my property. I think some people call them ground squirrels. I always thought they're super cute, but I did try to install a bird feeder on my property because I love watching birds and all that good stuff. And I looked out one day and I found these little guys climbing up the bird feeder, climbing all the way up the post. And I was able to find a solution for it. As you can see at the bottom there, I installed some aluminum round duct pipe, and that has prevented them from being able to get up to the top. So this brings me to my next challenge, and that is that I put up all these bird feeders, and I've been getting a lot of birds, mourning doves and stuff like that, some mountain bluebirds. But now I got so many birds that they are crapping all over the place. They're getting into my new side-by-side, crapping on the seats. They're getting onto my lawn chairs and crapping all over my chairs. And so I don't know, man. It's kind of frustrating to look out and see them crapping all over everything. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about that, but it's probably my own doing since I put up these bird feeders, but it's definitely a challenge nonetheless. So before I wrap up this video, I wanted to talk about the insects really quickly because we have a ton of them out here. So these guys here, I'm not sure what they are. I tried to enter them into Google and Google didn't really know. They appeared to be hatching all at the same time, almost like they were eggs underneath, like I had 2x4s laying in the yard, and they appeared to be hatching from underneath that. So I tend to think there's some type of flying ant or something, but I tell you what, for maybe a month during the summer, they're just all over the place. And so as far as managing the insects in my house, though, I've been using these little glue boards here that work really well for the spiders and the beetles because we have lots of both. And we also have quite a few flies out here. Some of them even appear to be biting flies. You can ask my dad about that. When we were installing the solar panels, man, they were really bad. We had to wear like long sleeve shirts in the middle of summer. But anyway, these fly sticks seem to work really well on the flies that actually get into the house. But anyway, that is a list of the challenges I have been dealing with. Definitely not complaining about it because the peace and serenity of living off-grid is quite amazing. But before I let you go, there is one more solution to the mice that I have discovered, and that is that I adopted a couple of working cats. These two guys have been living in my solar shed for a few weeks, and I'm hoping they will help manage the rodent population. Unfortunately, the one on the left, his name is Starsky. He took off on me 2 nights ago, so he's been MIA for a bit, and I'm still hopeful that he's going to return, but I've been making some pretty cool videos. If you're interested, I've got a playlist called The Adventures of Starsky and Hutch. I've been capturing video of them on my Ring camera, and it's been turning out really good. So anyway, thanks for watching the Nash Potatoes Outdoor Show. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.